This is what we call straight up fly by the seat of our pants. Yeah. Yep, still good. Still got it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Grumpy Snail podcast, where the news that made up, my opinion doesn't matter, when we fly by the seat of our pants trying to stick 2 minutes of content into a 15-minute video. I'm sorry, I'm trying to fight off the cat here. He's trying to jump up in my life. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you click the like, share, subscribe to my channel, both on YouTube and on Rumble. I upload every Sunday at noon, and sometimes randomly throughout the week. I'll probably throw up a short a little bit ago. I got a brand new guitar. This week was my birthday week, where I turned 35 years young. See there, and fighting her off didn't do anything. She still got up on my lap. Don't mess up my video, cat. Lay down and shut up. Anyway, This video that I've got today is definitely like pretty non-scripted whatsoever. So we're gonna see what we can do. This video is gonna be pertained to old news, not new news. But today we're gonna talk about Jimmy Dore. And if you don't know who Jimmy Dore is, you're not alone, because a lot of people don't know who Jimmy Dore is. For a long time, I didn't know who Jimmy Dore was. But I'm going to educate you on Jimmy Dore, and since YouTube likes to use the all-knowing Wikipedia, that's where we're going to get our information from today, right? They can't put a context box down below when they're reading straight from their context source, right? So that's what we're going to do. I got good old Wikipedia pulled up here on my iMac. Still going strong after like 6 years. Alright, so James Patrick Anthony Dore, who was born in 1965. You know what? He's the same age as my dad. Is labeled, and this is the first sentence of Wikipedia, is an American stand-up comedian, political commentator, conspiracy theorist, podcaster, and YouTube personality. So there you go. We're going with the conspiracy theorists again. You just can't get away from them. Dore started as a comedian in Illinois in 1989 and has made several appearances in late-night comedy shows. Early in his comedy career, from 2005 onward, his performances increased, including political commentary. Dore was affiliated with the Young Turks. The Young Turks? Okay. So, we're looking at, sort of more lefty-leaning. A left conspiracy theorist. A left-leaning conspiracy theorist. I didn't know there was such a thing. The Young Turks from 2009 to 2019, and appeared at a Young Turk Network show titled Aggressive Progressives. Really? So he's an aggressive progressive. Where are we at? The Jimmy Dore Show was broadcast on public radio station KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles, California. I believe Scott Horton Show, Anti-War Radio, I believe that's published on the same station. From 2021 onward, the Jimmy Dore Show became entirely independent and streams live as well as posts via YouTube regularly. Dore has become known for covering conspiracy theories more positively, including the claim that the Syrian government did not carry out chemical weapon attacks on Syrian civilians in Khan Sirkun. I don't know how you pronounce that. I don't know how you pronounce a lot of foreign words. But there you go. There's an intro to Jimmy Dore. So Jimmy Dore was a stand-up comedian in his early career. Let's see. Started performing in 89. In 95 moved to L.A. Made appearance on Comedy Central's Make Me Laugh. Let's see. Late-night talk shows. His influence include Carlin, Seinfeld, and Bill Hicks. That's a nice mix. ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, Late Night Show with Craig Kilborn, NBC's Late Friday. So he's, made appearances. Let's see, he's performed at Tropicana Comedy Stop in Las Vegas, Palms Playboy Comedy Club, Catching Rising Star in Reno, Hurrahs in Las Vegas Strip, Just for Laughs in Montreal, Let's see, the U.S. Comedy Arts Festival, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. So the guy's a comedian. Yeah, so there you go. Scroll down to the Jimmy Dore Show, 2009, Pacifica Radio Network. Yeah, that was definitely there. Political commentary show with the Young Turks and the Young Turk Network. Young Turks with Cenk Uygur. Was on YouTube via the Young Turks Network show The Point with Anna Kasparian, so appeared there. Let's see. Controversies. So here we go. The controversies. I just want to give you guys a full range of Jimmy Dore here. We're in, 5 minutes here. Let's see. During the COVID pandemic, Dore promoted misleading information about the efficacy and safety of vaccines, even though he had been medically vaccinated. Okay, what did he say? The anti-parasitic drug ivermectin was promoted on this program as a treatment for COVID-19, although there was no compelling medical evidence to support this. Was ivermectin promoted, or was a treatment that included multiple medications and procedures, including ivermectin, promoted? Because they don't do that. They say if you bring up ivermectin at all, it's, horse medication. Let's see. Erroneously said Joe Biden had once hosted a blackface affair with a bunch of rich white people, showing an altar clip that had been circulating on social media in January, blah, 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 blah. Senator Jerome Powell. Okay, there's that. Dore interviewed Zachary Clark, who is a member of the anti-government far-right extremist Boogaloo movement. I was under the impression... Hey, stop it. Get out of here. I was under the impression that, let's see, the Boogaloo movement wasn't necessarily far right, considering they supported Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ rights and opposed racism, police brutality, war, U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. So this group that's far right is a far right extremist group. Supports Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ rights, opposed racism, police brutality, war, and the U.S. immigration and customs. I don't know, Wikipedia. I think your credibility's falling there. Let's see. The conspiracy theories discussed on the show include the murder of Seth Rich, something I don't know anything about, so I can't talk about it. Argued chemical weapons attack on opposition held in we talked about that earlier. It was a false flag. Definitely don't know anything about that. 2018, Stephen Shalom, writing New Politics. Dore cited an op-ed to quote U.S. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis, out of context. Evidence about nerve agent sarin in Syria and Assad government and all that stuff during the Obama administration. Again, I haven't dug into that, so I don't know anything about that either. Alright, so that's pretty much Jimmy Dore. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Jimmy Dore is because I've kind of started listening to his show a little bit more often now that it was promoted on a couple he was promoted on a couple shows that I listened to, so I started listening a little bit more. His anti-war stuff is pretty good, I would have to say, and I'm going to show you one clip. It's coming from Tucker Carlson. I'm sorry it has to be that, but that's where he's at. MSNBC and CNN and a lot of left-wing sites do not promote anti-war because I don't know. I don't know why they support war so much. But here we go. We're going to talk about them. We're going to start here with Tucker Carlson. We're going to start with Tucker Carlson. Is going to do an intro to this because it gives context for the great big long rant that Jimmy Dore goes into. So let's go ahead and start with Tucker Carlson here.
So last night I went on.
If you hate Tucker, if you hate Tucker Carlson, just bear with it because sorry, this is the platform we're on.
You can be outraged by the people running our country selling out our country to China, and you should be, but that's a very different thing from wanting to go to war with China, a war that we have no assurance we would win, to put it mildly. But in a memo to his troops, 4-star Air Force General Mike Minahan wrote this, quote, "My gut tells me we will fight in 2025. Xi Jinping secured his third term and set his war council in October 2022. Taiwan's presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a reason. U.S. presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a distracted America. Xi's team, reason, and opportunity are all aligned for 2025. So what should we take of this? Again, you can be deeply skeptical, in fact, hostile toward China, and still be worried about going to war with China. Jimmy Dore is the host of the Jimmy Dore Show. He joins us tonight to assess. Jimmy, what do you, should we be paying attention to a memo like this? What do you think it means?
What I think it means is that the United States is trying to provoke and saber rattle with another nuclear power, right? This is what we were supposed to be afraid of was going to happen with Donald Trump, right? We couldn't have, he's a crazy man who's going to have his finger on the nuclear button. And now we have Demented Joe, who is saber rattling with 2 nuclear powers, and they get the corporate media sponsored by the military industrial complex to get Americans to cheer it on. And why do Americans cheer it on? Because they have no idea what's actually happening with their foreign policy. And what's worse is they have no idea that they have no idea that they don't have any idea what's happening with their foreign policy. We have 400 military bases surrounding China since the Korean War. Do we really think that China is getting ready to invade the United States? Because I tell you, they're not. They make everything we use in the United States. Why? Because the same people who want this war are the same people who took the good jobs that are manufacturing jobs in America, turned them into low-paying, crappy jobs, and then shipped them to China, and then we get angry at them for the system that we set up. If they're so corrupt, because that's the thing, Americans have no idea how corrupt their government is. They think our government's just regular corrupt, like, oh, Trump gave his son a job or Biden gave his kid a no-show job in the Ukraine war. That's not, the whole thing is corrupt. The $800 billion military budget is $800 billion of corruption. Why do we have to have 900 military bases around? We're the ones provoking this war, just like we provoked the war in Ukraine. We are now provoking a war with China. And who benefits? I'll tell you right now, your enemy is not China. Your enemy is not Russia. Your enemy is the military industrial complex, which has been fleecing this country to the tunes of hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars. How many times are we going to have a defense secretary say, hey, we can't account for $2 trillion in the Pentagon again? Which has happened twice now in my lifetime. So again, people are being, the war machine cannot be stopped. Who's running this country? The war machine. It certainly isn't Joe Biden making these decisions. I would like to know who is making the decisions. And I just want to remind everybody, the United States is the world's terrorist. We just set the Middle East on fire in the last 20 years. And now we're doing a proxy war in Ukraine, which we provoked, NATO provoked, and it was just admitted that we provoked it by the former prime minister of Germany. And now we're trying to saber rattle with China, and they're predicting a war. Again, China's not going to invade us. China's not our enemy. We might have an economic war. That's what these are. These are economic wars. These are wars in Ukraine. It's about liquefied natural gas and making sure Germany and Russia never come together because we fear Russia's natural resources and manpower, and we fear them getting together with Germany with their technology and their capital. And so that's why we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's why we're doing the Ukraine war. This is all about hegemony, imperialism, and economics. And if there's a Marine somewhere, it's there because they're about to steal some natural resources from another country. As everybody's screaming about what a bad guy Putin is for invading Ukraine, the United States is currently occupying a third of Syria. And which third is that? It's the third that has the oil. And how do I know we're there to steal their oil? Because the president of the United States said so.
So, yeah, that's Jimmy Dore. You can't really follow that up. That's all true. And that's why I bring it up, because there's a lot of people out there that can say the things in better ways than I can. And they're the things that need to be said. But, yeah. So I appreciate y'all listening to Jimmy Dore, the crazy conspiracy theorist leftist talking anti-war. So your 15 minutes are up, but the Grumpy Ramblings will continue. Maybe not by me, maybe by Jimmy Dore. But in the meantime, make sure you click like, share, subscribe to my channel, watch it on YouTube, Rumble. Doesn't really matter. I don't really care. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today. And make sure you tune in next week for another Grumpy Rambling. Good night. Cheers. And Godspeed.